The cage in the junkyard. They abandoned the dragon princess in a rusted cage. But one human saw her pain. The junkyard was quiet. Just the sound of wind blowing through broken metal and rusted ship parts. Long ago, this place was full of life ships. Flying in, machines working. But now, it was only a graveyard. A place forgotten by the galaxy. Hidden deep between scrap piles and broken engines, there was a cage. The metal bars were bent and covered in dirt. Chains wrapped around the corners. Inside that cage was something strange. Something alive. Her wings were torn. Her body was thin and weak. Silver scales covered her arms and back, glowing slightly under the moonlight. She was not human, not machine, not animal. She was something else. She was a dragon girl. She had not spoken in days. Her lips were dry, her hands were shaking. But her golden eyes were still bright, full of pain. And hope. Someone will come, she whispered. One day someone will see me. That day came. With the sound of an old engine landing nearby. Small human ship touched down near the junkyard. The door opened, and a young man stepped out. His name was Jace. He was a scavenger looking for parts to sell and survive. His jacket was torn, boots dirty, and a tool bag on his back. He didn't expect much from this planet. Just more broken metal and empty containers. But as he walked between the hills of trash, something felt off. He stopped. He heard breathing. Slow. Soft, weak. He followed the sound, stepping carefully over rusted wires and old ship wings. Then, he saw it. A cage. And inside, a girl. Jace froze. What the hell? The dragon girl didn't move. She was too weak. But her eyes locked onto his. She stared at him like he was a dream. Please, she whispered. Her voice was broken, soft like dust in the wind. Don't leave me. Jace looked around. There were no guards, no cameras, just this cage and her. He stepped closer, heart beating fast. Who did this to you? He asked. The girl didn't answer. She just looked at the water bottle on his belt. Jace opened it and carefully gave her a few sips. She drank like it was the first drop of water in years. Easy, he said. I'm not here to hurt you. Her wings moved a little. One was bent the wrong way. The other dragged on the ground. Why are you in a cage? He asked again. She closed her eyes. They left me here. I was a threat. To them. To who? To my people. To the Varnyx Empire. Jace had heard of them, powerful aliens, rulers of many planets. He never thought he'd meet one, especially like this. You were a soldier? He asked. No, she said. I was a princess. Jace stepped back in shock. What? She looked down. They feared me, thought I was cursed, too strong. So they locked me up, set me to die, here. Jace felt something twist in his chest. He had seen many broken machines, many broken people. But never something like this. A princess. A prisoner. A dragon. And no one had come for her. How long have you been here? He asked. I don't know. Time stopped mattering. Jace looked at the cage. The lock was old but strong. He pulled out a tool from his bag and tried to pry it open. But it didn't budge. I'll get you out, he said. She shook her head. You should run. If they find you helping me, they'll kill you too. I don't care. Why? Jace looked her in the eyes. Because no one should be left in a cage. The dragon girl blinked. No one had ever said that to her before. But before Jace could try the lock again, a loud sound came from behind, a screech of metal. He turned quickly. A shadow moved through the junk, large, fast. He pulled out a small laser knife. Where? Not alone. The dragon girl's golden eyes widened. It's awake. What's awake? He asked. The junkyard beast. They left it here to guard me. Something heavy landed on top of a broken ship nearby. Metal cracked. A long claw reached out from the shadows. Jace grabbed the cage. Hang on. He wasn't leaving her behind. Not now. Not ever. Asterisk, they abandoned the dragon princess in a rusted cage, but one human saw her pain. The beast moved in the dark like a shadow of war. Its body was made of old ship parts, wires, and alien bones. Its red eyes glowed like burning coals, and steam hissed from vents in its shoulders. Jay stood between the cage and the beast. His hands shook. He had only a laser knife and no real plan. The dragon girl whispered, "Run, please, just run." But Jace didn't move. The beast roared and charged. Jace threw a pipe at its head and ran in the opposite direction, leading it away from her cage. The ground shook under its heavy steps. Jace dove behind a pile of broken engines. The beast crashed through the scrap, metal pieces flying everywhere. From the cage, the girl watched, eyes wide with fear and something else. Something she hadn't felt in a long time. Hope. No one had ever risked their life for her. Jace found a fuel cell and threw it at the beast. It exploded, throwing sparks into the air. The beast screamed but kept coming. Back at the cage, the girl felt something deep inside, a flicker in her chest. A small ember that hadn't burned in years. Anger. Power. Fire. She gripped the bars with her weak hands and blew. A thin stream of orange flame shot out, small but real. It hit the old chains, and they hissed. The heat wasn't strong, but it was enough to weaken the rusted metal. Her heart beat faster. She did it again. And again, until clang. One of the cage doors fell open. Jace turned as the beast raised its metal arm to crush him, and suddenly, something slammed into it from the side. A roar of fire. A flash of wings. A scream. She was free. The dragon girl stood between Jace and the beast, her eyes glowing like suns. Her wings were broken, yes, but she stood tall, like a flame refusing to die. The beast swung at her. She ducked and breathed fire again, this time stronger. The beast caught fire and screamed in pain, running back into the junkyard. Jace stared at her in shock. You did that?" She looked at him, breathing hard. "You distracted it." "I just finished the job," Jace smiled. "Remind me never to make you angry." She gave him a small, tired smile. The first in many years, he helped her walk to his ship. She was weak, limping, wings dragging behind her. Once inside, she collapsed in a corner. Jace gave her more water, wrapped her burned hands in cloth, and checked her wounds. "What's your name?" he asked. She was silent for a moment. Then she said softly, "Kalira. My name is Kalira." "Kalira," Jace repeated. "That's beautiful." She looked away. "It used to mean something. Long ago. You were a princess?" "Yes, but not a loved one. My father feared me. My mother disappeared when I was young. The elders said I had too much fire in me. Too much power. I was unnatural. What did they do to you? They gave me a crown, then took it away. Said I was cursed. Said I would burn everything. So they locked me in that cage, far from my world. Left me there." Jace looked at her for a long time. "But you didn't burn everything." She met his eyes. "I would have if you hadn't come." Outside, the stars were quiet. The junkyard beast was gone for now. But danger still lived in Kalira's past. And now it would come for Jace. In a hidden part of the galaxy, deep in the Varnyx Empire, a signal blinked. Subject, Kalira. Escaped. Location, confirmed. Human interaction detected. Order, terminate both. Far above the junkyard, a black ship changed course. Back on the small human vessel, Kalira slept for the first time in days. Her head rested against the cold wall, her hands finally still. Jace sat across from her, watching over her like a silent guard. He didn't know what he had gotten himself into, but he knew one thing. He would not let her go back in that cage, not while he was alive. They abandoned the dragon princess in a rusted cage, But one human saw her pain. The ship creaked under its own weight. Jace had landed it deep in a rocky canyon, hidden from the sky. The stars above twinkled like cold eyes, watching in silence. But somewhere out there, someone was coming. Inside the ship, Kalira rested. Her silver scales still glowed faintly, her wings bent but healing. Jace sat near her, fixing an old scanner with shaky hands. Every sound outside made him jump. She need real care soon, he muttered to himself. Food, shelter, not just broken metal and cheap bandages. Kalira opened one eye. You talk to yourself often? He smiled, embarrassed. Only when I'm scared. Are you scared now? Yes, he said honestly, but I'm staying. She looked away. You don't know what's hunting me. He tightened a screw. Then tell me. Kalira sat up slowly, her eyes serious. After I was locked in the cage, the council left a guardian behind. Not a beast. A machine. Old, but dangerous. It sleeps until it senses movement or fire. Jace's heart skipped. That thing we saw, was it? She nodded. It's called a sentinel. Built from dead war machines. Programmed to kill anything that gets close to me. Why? Because my death is safer for them than my freedom. Jace stood, pacing. But we're safe now, right? It ran away. Kalira didn't answer. Suddenly, the ship shook. A sound echoed from outside, a loud, heavy thud like a giant foot slamming into the ground. Jace looked at her. That's not thunder, is it? No. The Junkyard was hunting. Jace ran to the window. Something huge moved between the scrap hill's long limbs, glowing red eyes, parts of its body clicking like gears. The sentinel had returned. He grabbed his pack and laser knife. We need to move, now. Kalira tried to stand but staggered. My wings still hurt. I can't fly yet. Then we run. He helped her up and guided her out the back of the ship. They moved fast, staying low behind old ship wings and rusted armor plates. The wind picked up, carrying dust and broken memories. Behind them, the sentinel roared. Kalira winced. It knows I'm close. It smells my fire. Then maybe we should light it up again, Jace said. No, she said. Not yet. I'm not strong enough. They reached an old tunnel part of a crashed freighter half buried in junk. Jace led her inside. The walls were dark, filled with old lights and dead screens. Stay here, he said. I'll draw it away. She grabbed his arm. You'll die. He smiled. I've done stupid things before. This might be the smartest. Kalira didn't smile back. Promise me you'll come back. Jace looked at her, quiet for a moment. Then he nodded. Promise. He slipped out of the tunnel and ran through the Junkyard, throwing small metal scraps behind him to make noise. The sentinel turned, scanning with red lights. Come on, you ugly toaster, Jace whispered. Follow. May. The machine moved fast, too fast. Jace ran through broken wings, over crushed robot parts, and under broken satellite dishes. The ground shook behind him. He reached a pile of unstable crates and pulled a wire. Boom! A small explosion lit the night. The crates fell, blocking the path. The sentinel paused, then climbed over. Okay, Jace panted. No more hiding. But before it could reach him, a second flame roared from the side. Kalira. She was flying barely. Her wings struggled, but her fire was strong now. She blasted the sentinel from the side, hitting its arm. The machine turned and swung at her. She dodged and spat fire again. Now, Jace. She shouted. He pulled out a power cell he had stolen from his ship. It was glowing hot, unstable. He threw it at the sentinel's chest and dove behind a metal slab. Boom. The explosion lit the sky. When the dust cleared, the sentinel was on fire. Its head half melted. Sparks flew from its chest. It groaned, took one step forward, and collapsed. Kalira landed next to Jace, breathing hard. He coughed. You're crazy. "You're the one who ran at it with a battery," she said. They both laughed, just a little. Then Kalira stopped. "We made noise." Jace frowned. "So?" She pointed to the sky. Above them, 3 red lights blinked in the cloud's ships. "Small, fast, and armed. They're coming," she said. "And this time, they're not leaving me in a cage." Jace looked up, jaw tight. "Let them come." They abandoned the dragon princess in a rusted cage, but one human saw her pain. Fire had stopped, but the smoke still danced in the air like ghosts. Jace sat on a broken crate, his arm bleeding, his face covered in dust. Beside him, Kalira lay on the ground, wings twitching, breathing hard. The sentinel was gone, nothing but broken parts and black smoke. But Jace couldn't celebrate. Not yet, because above them, the red lights were still coming. 3 Varnyx. Hunters' ships sliced through the clouds like knives. Their engines screamed like monsters, shaking the ground below. Soldiers dropped from them, tall, armored, and carrying plasma rifles. They weren't here to talk. Kalira opened her eyes slowly. "They sent hunters." Jace looked at her. "Can you move?" "Barely," he helped her up. "Then we'll move slow." Kalira leaned on him, her steps unsteady. "You should run. Save yourself." He laughed without humor. "You still don't get it, do you?" She looked at him, confused. "I don't run." "Not from you. Not from them." "Why?" Jace stopped walking and stared at her. "Because you were in a cage, and no one cared." "I care." Kalira's eyes softened. For a second, she didn't feel like a weapon or a princess or a problem. She felt seen. But the moment didn't last. A blast hit the ground near them, throwing up dust and rocks. The Varnyx soldiers were close now, shouting in their harsh alien tongue. Jace pulled Kalira behind a broken engine. "I have an idea." Kalira coughed. "Tell me it's not stupid." "It's very stupid." He handed her a small power crystal. "When I run, you charge this with your fire. As soon as it glows, throw it into the air." "Why?" "Because I'm going to make us a door." Before she could ask more, he was already running. The Varnyx soldiers spotted him. "Human, surrender." Jace didn't stop. He waved his arms, yelled, and dodged plasma blasts. He led them away from Kalira, toward an old wrecked cruiser at the edge of the Junkyard. Inside the ship was what he hoped to find: a warp core. Damaged, leaking, and glowing faintly. Perfect. Jace pulled off the control panel and rewired the safety lock. He had only seconds. If it worked, the explosion wouldn't kill them, but it would give them a chance to escape. "Come on." "Come on." Back at the hiding spot, Kalira stared at the crystal. She breathed carefully, pushing her flame into it. It glowed red, then gold. "Jace," she whispered, "please don't die." She threw the crystal high into the air. The light flashed. Jace saw it. He hit the final switch. Boom. A wave of fire and light exploded across the wreckage. The shockwave knocked the Varnyx soldiers off their feet. Their ships tilted in the air. Alarmed, screaming, Kalira stumbled toward the edge of the blast. She looked up through the fire. Jace walked out, limping, burnt, but alive. He smiled. "Told you I had a plan." Kalira ran to him, caught him before he fell. "You are insane," she said. "Insane people get things done," he whispered. Half-conscious. She helped him into a nearby escape pod, a round metal sphere half buried in junk. It was old, barely working, but Kalira knew tech. She connected wires, bypassed systems, and whispered in an alien tongue. The pod shook, then lifted. Below them, Varnyx soldiers screamed and fired into the sky. One shot hit the side of the pod. Sparks flew. Kalira held onto Jace tightly. "I've got you," she whispered. The stars opened above them. They escaped. Hours passed. The pod floated in deep space, silent and cold. Inside, Kalira wrapped Jace's wounds with torn cloth and old bandages. He opened his eyes slowly. "We alive?" "Yes," she said. "For now." He smiled. "That's enough." Kalira looked out the pod window. "They'll keep coming." "Let them," Jay said. "We'll keep running." She turned to him. "You really won't leave me, will you?" "No," he said. "Not even if you ask." Tears welled in her golden eyes, but she didn't let them fall. "You're the first one who ever saw me," she whispered. "Not as a weapon, not as a freak, but as someone worth saving." Jay smiled weakly. "You saved me too, you know." Outside the pod, a signal light blinked a beacon. A station nearby had picked up their distress call, but who waited there? Friends or another trap? Kalira didn't know, but this time, she wasn't alone. They abandoned the dragon princess in a rusted cage, but one human saw her pain. The escape pod shook violently as it entered the planet's atmosphere. Sparks flew across the control screen. Warning lights flashed red. Kalira kept her arms around Jace, protecting him as best she could. His wounds were still fresh. He had risked everything for her, and now it was her turn to do the same. The pod crashed hard into the ground, sliding across dry rock and sand before finally stopping near a cliff's edge. Smoke filled the air. The door burst open with a loud clang. Kalira climbed out first, wings folded close to her back. She helped Jace out gently. His eyes blinked open. "Are we dead?" "No," she whispered. "Not yet." They looked around. The land was dry, cracked, with red hills rising in the distance. In the far sky, a large metal shape hovered above the horizon, an abandoned space station, half buried in rock. Jace pointed weakly. "That's where the signal came from." Kalira nodded. "Let's go." They traveled slowly. Jace leaned on her. She walked steady, her golden eyes scanning the sky. She knew more enemies would come. The Varnyx never stopped. They reached the station by nightfall. Its doors were rusted, but Kalira used her fire to melt the lock. Inside it was dark and cold, silent for years. But it had power. She found a small room, laid Jace down, and powered the station's defense shields. Just in case. As Jace slept, Kalira explored. She found pieces of old tech metal wings, armor plates, flame cores. They were dusty, but not dead. She could use this for hours. She worked. She didn't sleep. She forged. She built. She burned. And when morning came, she stood in the rising sun, in armor of her own design. A chest plate made from starship steel, gloves that sparked with fire. Energy, and around her shoulders mechanical wing braces, helping her fly again. She was not just surviving now, she was ready to fight. Jace woke up slowly. His eyes widened when he saw her. "You look different." She smiled. "I feel different." He tried to sit up. "What is this place?" "An old Varnyx research station," she said. "They used to build weapons here. Now I've turned it into our home." Jace laughed. "A home? You barely trust me to carry your water." "I trust you more than anyone," she said softly. A sudden alarm beeped. Kalira rushed to the control screen. A ship was approaching fast, heavy, and not friendly. "They found us again," she said. "How many?" Jace asked. "Just one ship. But it's big." Outside, the sky turned dark as a massive Varnyx attack cruiser blocked the sun. Its cannons moved into position. Kalira's eyes narrowed. "Time to fight." She opened the weapon bay. Inside was a broken fighter ship, half destroyed, barely held together, but Kalira had fixed it. She climbed into the pilot's seat. Jace limped to the edge of the bay, watching her. "You sure about this?" She looked at him. "You gave me a second chance. Now I'll give us both a future." The engines roared. The ship lifted, and Kalira flew. She raced toward the enemy cruiser, dodging fire from its cannons. Her wings glowed, her hands burned. She moved like lightning fast, angry, alive. Inside the cruiser, the Varnyx captain barked orders. Destroy her. Do not let the fire live. But Kalira had learned. She was no longer the scared girl in a cage. She was fire reborn. She fired plasma blasts at the enemy ship's engines. She flipped through narrow gaps, wings wide. One cannon hit her wing, spinning her, but she recovered mid-air and dived at full speed. Jace watched from below, holding his breath. One final shot, one final blast of flame. Kalira screamed as she pushed her ship forward into the cruiser's side. A chain of explosions lit the sky. The cruiser began to fall. Kalira's ship shot away at the last second, smoke trailing behind her. She landed hard on the station's runway. Jace ran to her side. Her armor was scorched. One wing brace broken, but she smiled. "We're still alive," she said. Jace laughed. "That's becoming our thing." They stood together, looking up at the falling pieces of the enemy ship. Kalira turned to him. "They'll send more." "I know," he said, "and they'll never stop." He nodded. "Then neither will we." She held out her hand. "Together?" He took it. "Together." Asterisk. They abandoned the Dragon Princess in a rusted cage, but one human saw her pain. The space station shook from the last blast. The sky was clear for now, but the battle had left scars across the ground and across Kalira's body. Her armor was cracked. Her breathing was heavy, but her golden eyes still burned with fire. Jace sat beside her on the floor, helping her remove what was left of her damaged wing braces. His hands moved gently, careful not to press too hard. "You saved us again," he whispered. Kalira gave a tired smile. "We saved each other." Silence filled the room for a moment. Only the hum of the station's core could be heard, but Jace noticed something strange. As he wrapped a cloth around her bleeding arm, her blood shimmered, not red, but glowing silver. "Your blood," he said softly. "It's different." Kalira looked away. Jace frowned. "Is it because of the fire? The dragon part of you?" She didn't answer at first. Then she spoke, voice low and distant. "My blood. It's the reason they locked me up." He sat still, waiting. Kalira closed her eyes. The royal family of Varnyx has always feared power. They control it, own it, hide it. I was born with something they didn't expect. My mother was from an ancient line forgotten, erased from history. She had fire inside her. Living fire. Jace whispered. "You inherited it." Kalira nodded. "But it's not just fire. It's something deeper. My blood can wake things, old machines. Weapons, even dying stars. The elders called it the flame core. They believed if I lost control, I could destroy planets." Jace's eyes widened. "Is it true?" "I don't know," she whispered. "I never wanted to find out. But they didn't wait. Before I was even 10 years old, they declared me dangerous. A threat to the Empire. I became a secret, ashamed to be buried." Jace leaned forward. "That's why they sent the hunters. That's why they'll never stop." Kalira opened her palm, and a soft golden flame danced in it. Not hot, not wild, but warm and calm. "I've only ever used it to protect myself. But the blood in me, it has another use." Jace raised an eyebrow. "What kind of use?" She looked him in the eyes. "It can be transferred." "What?" She nodded. "A part of it. Through my flame, if I choose to. I can give someone a piece of the core." Jace shook his head slowly. "Why would you do that?" "Because soon I may not be strong enough to face what's coming." His eyes hardened. "You think I can use it?" "No." She said softly, "I know you can." Before Jace could reply, an alert sounded across the station. A deep voice echoed through the loudspeaker. "Attention. This is High Commander Varryx of the Varnyx Empire. You are harboring a stolen weapon. Surrender the flame-blooded female, or be destroyed." Kalira stood, her body shaking slightly. "He's here." "Who is he?" Jace asked. My father's war general. The one who ordered my exile. He was always afraid of me. Even when I was just a child, Jace clenched his fists. Then let's show him you're not a child anymore. Kalira hesitated. I can't be him alone, not this time. Jace looked into her eyes. Then don't be alone. She stepped closer, fire glowing in her hand. If I give you part of the flame, you must promise me. You'll use it to protect, not to destroy. He didn't blink. I promise. She reached out, placing her hand over his heart. A soft flame flowed from her palm into his chest. Jace gasped out, his body warmed from the inside. His vision blurred. For a moment, he saw stars, fire, memories not his own. Then everything settled. Kalira pulled her hand back. You now carry the echo flame. Jace stood up straighter, feeling strength in his bones. Let's finish this. Outside, the High Commander's ship landed like a mountain from the sky. Hundreds of Varnyx soldiers marched out in dark armor. Kalira and Jace walked to the station's main gate side by side. Varryk stood tall, his voice cold. Give me the girl, walk away alive. Jace stepped forward. She's not yours to cage anymore. Varryk raised his weapon. Then you die with her. Kalira raised her palm. You can try. Flames burst from her body. And this time, she wasn't fighting alone. They abandoned the dragon princess in a rusted cage, but one human saw her pain. The air burned with silence. Kalira stood tall, her armor cracked but glowing. Beside her, Jace's hands sparked with golden fire, the echo flame now alive in his blood. Across from them, Commander Varryk and his army lined the rocky field like a black wall of death. No one moved. Then, the sky screamed. Varryk raised his hand. Destroy them both. The Varnyx soldiers charged forward, weapons ready. Plasma blasts flew through the air. Kalira opened her wings wide, mechanical braces sparking with power, and leapt into the sky. Flames exploded behind her as she unleashed a firestorm that knocked back the first wave of soldiers. Jace ran into battle with speed he had never felt before. The echo flame guided him, his punches stronger, his reflexes faster. He ducked under a plasma shot and slammed his fist into a soldier's chest, sending him flying. Kalira spun through the air, her fire shaping like a blade. She sliced through enemy lines, not with hate, but with purpose. She wasn't just fighting for herself anymore. She was fighting for freedom. Varryk watched with cold eyes. You've become the very thing we feared. Kalira landed in front of him, fire swirling around her. No, I became what you created. You were always dangerous. I was always alive, she said. But you wanted me in a cage. Varryk charged with his sword, made from star steel. Kalira blocked it with her arm, wincing as sparks flew. He struck again, harder. She fell back slightly. Jace ran to help, but more soldiers blocked his way. Varryk pushed Kalira down, his blade at her throat. This ends now. Her eyes glowed gold. Yes, it does. She grabbed his blade with her bare hand, burning her palm, and sent a wave of fire through it. The sword melted. Varryk screamed and fell back. Jace broke through the enemy wall and reached her side. You okay? Kalira nodded. Let's finish it. Together, they stood side by side. Her hands blazed with dragon fire. His fists glowed. With echo flame, they unleashed it, a storm of fire, a roar that shook the ground. The flames didn't destroy the soldiers. They didn't kill. They pushed them back, disarming, disabling, forcing them to retreat. For the first time, Varnyx warriors saw something they had never seen before: mercy. From power, Kalira turned to the soldiers. I'm not your weapon. I'm not your curse. I am not afraid anymore. And I will never go back. Varryk crawled away, defeated, his armor scorched. Kalira looked down at him. You don't deserve death. You deserve to live with your fear. She walked away. The soldiers didn't follow. They let her go. They bowed their heads. Jace and Kalira climbed the rocky hill together. The twin suns were rising, golden light spreading over the battlefield. I thought you might lose control, Jace said gently. Kalira looked at her burned hands. So did I, but you didn't. No, she said. Because I finally understood. My fire isn't for revenge, it's for protection. It's for healing, Jace smiled. So, what now? Kalira looked to the sky. We build something. Better. A home. A place where no one ends up in a cage again. Do I get a say in this new world? He joked. You're part of it now, she said, smiling softly. You always will be. He looked at her serious. You saved me too, Kalira. Before I met you, I was just drifting. Now I know what I'm fighting for. She took his hand. Then let's keep fighting. Together. As they stood at the top of the hill, the wind blowing gently through the dust and ashes, the fire inside them didn't burn out. It shined. Epilogue optional tag ending. Months later, on a quiet green moon orbiting a peaceful star, a new home rose from the earth. Kalira and Jace lived there free, safe, and not alone. Other forgotten ones came too: exiles, broken machines, runaway warriors. Kalira welcomed them all. And in the heart of the settlement stood a large metal arch. On it, carved in both human and Varnyx script, here no one burns alone.